Welcome back, American Studies students, to another screencast. I hope you enjoy this one as much as you enjoyed the last one. Today's focus is going to be on the importance of creating an outline for our research so that we can organize the data that we found so far in all of the article collection and data collection annotating that we've been doing in class over the past week or so. To begin with, I'm going to just share with this group the skeletal outline. Now, this is something that I would have created in the past that would work for me for outlining, and you're more than welcome to use this structure in this format if you wish. Basically, what you need to recognize with the outline here is that kind of compartmentalized in three different ways. First of all, use of Roman numerals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., for the different paragraphs that we'll be incorporating into the research paper in finality. With the Roman numerals, we are identifying the topic sentence for each paragraph that will be incorporated into the research paper. Capital letters, as you see, A, B, C, and D, are simply primary ideas, the main ideas, focal points of our paragraphs that we have. And then, of course, we'll support those primary ideas with the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, depending on how many different details you would have that would support your primary examples. So as I scroll down here, again, the first Roman numeral would recognize that I have one paragraph. Roman numeral number 2 recognizes that there's a second paragraph. 3, continuing in a third paragraph with primary ideas and supporting details, etc. Now, the skeletal outline only indicates 3 paragraphs, but that does not indicate that that's any long. That would be the length of your research paper. It'll be as many paragraphs as it needs to be. So, if you have 5 paragraphs, obviously you'll have 5 Roman numerals. One for each paragraph. So with that skeletal outline, we're going to proceed to demonstrate this sample outline for my research paper. And you'll notice right away that I've kind of identified in parentheses here the paragraph's focus. So for my first Roman numeral, I'm going to recognize the opposition for my product. And of course, what better product would there be than bananas? And you can identify that I have a topic sentence for Roman numeral number 1, that there are various concerns that have plagued the banana industry for decades, and we should be really wondering if we should consume them because of these concerns. Letters A and B are me compartmentalizing my paragraph in 2 primary ideas: environmental impact and working conditions. And clearly this is something we've been hashing over in class over the past couple of weeks, so they're big ideas that we're familiar with. For my oppositional paragraph, I'm recognizing that the banana industry has been horrible for the environment, and you can see my 3 supporting ideas relate to chemicals that are affecting rivers, fields, animals, and people. Then I have a quote about DCBP from an article written by Wheat, and then I have a quotation from the World Health Organization. Sounds like it would be a credible source from the article written by Wheat as well. Notice that you do not have to include the quotation, otherwise this outline will be extremely long. In this instance, just identifying who the speaker of the quotation was, maybe what it was about, like the DCBP, or there's something relating to the World Health Organization as part of the quote as well. I think that's enough information just to take all of your info that you have and start, again, placing it in logical fashion. You can kind of see the same thing here with my letter B, working conditions, that I have different articles. One has no author, hence the title there, Into the Dead Zone. Blythman is the second, and again, I'm using Wheat for a third article. And you can see in the information here and get a general idea of what I would be talking about in my paragraph regarding the opposition to the banana industry. Clearly, there are some concerns regarding cancer, skin disease, reflexes being lost, and even sterility in some cases. So I haven't explained it yet. It's just my outline, but it gives you an idea of what the paragraph would look like. As I proceed down the screen, you can see that my next paragraph is starting to get into the lenses that we talked about in large group a couple of weeks ago. In this case, the first paragraph I'm going to focus on is the environmental impact. And because my opposition says that the banana industry is bad, what I'm actually going to focus on is how there have been changes made. And clearly some of those changes occur with the environment. And this name Mackey, as you see here, should be familiar to us because we've read his article and we recognize a lot of this information that I've compartmentalized here in this paragraph. Obviously, my first primary idea is how a banana plantation becomes certified, identify that info with my statistics and etc., and then how they've improved facilities, which we've talked about at great length over the weeks. So this paragraph happens to be on the environment. If you were to scroll down further, you'll see that my next paragraph is looking at the social lens. And the reason I change it from environmental to social is because the banana industry has strived to improve conditions for their workers, again, that being my topic sentence. And then my major ideas, my primary ideas, letter A, pesticide use, letter B, working conditions. And you can see Jackson is a name that we're familiar with. And you can also see that we have information from Time Ripe for Greener Bananas. It's an article that we didn't look at, but it has no author. So instead I have to use the article title. And again, I don't want to belabor the point here by going through every single example that's in my outline, but the purpose of it all is to support the primary idea. So here are 4 examples that would support the benefits, the improvements that are being made in working conditions. And here are 4 examples that are being used to support the idea of pesticides and the pesticide application improvements being made there. I'm not going to extend my outline for the purpose of this sample other than just these 2 paragraphs. But again, to reiterate, if you have 5 paragraphs, you would have 5 Roman numerals, and each of the Roman numerals would be looking identical to what we have in front of us here, with a topic sentence and supporting details that would represent and support our primary ideas. So there is the research paper outline, gives you more of a concrete idea. And there's one more item I want to share with you, and that is, what would it look like when you finalize a paragraph based on what you've placed in the outline? So I move to this recognize the opposition paragraph. This would be the first body paragraph that would exist in my research paper. And if I were to look at the outline and scroll back up to the top, I realize that, all right, essentially this topic sentence is going to be the same. And then all this information here will become fleshed out and analyzed, explained, and written into a logical paragraph. So as you can tell, I used purple to begin with just to give you a more user-friendly, reader-friendly topic sentence so it stands out. There are various concerns that have plagued the banana industry. And as you proceed through this, you can take a look at the explanation of these concerns. Some of these numbers, some of this data, something about fresh fish, birds, and humans, a chemical used here, nematicide. All that information comes from this source from a lot that I obviously am documenting. As you continue, you see there's a quote. Again, on my outline, I mentioned there was going to be a quote regarding DBCP, and this goes on to explain the effects of DBCP. This comes from wheat as well. And as I proceed, I continue to look at, wow, there's more information from wheat. That name Blythman appears here. This information from Into the Dead Zone that would have been on my outline is all there. All in defense of this, or explanation of my idea that the banana industry has been horrible to the environment and we have concerns about that. By the time you make it to the end of this sample paragraph, you can recognize that as the writer, my attempt is to take data from various sources, whether it's Malat, whether it's Blythman, whether it's Into the Dead Zone, or it's wheat. I've collected the data. It all relates to a specific topic, and that being the fact that the banana industry has not been doing what it should have been doing regarding the environment and also the workers. So essentially, I'm recognizing the opposition with research that I've found. I'm parenthetically documenting it correctly. I'm also making sure as you read through this that my voice as a writer is coming through, that I'm not simply just listing data and facts and statistics and quotations, but I'm explaining how all that material works together to support my idea. Finally, as all good paragraphs do, I have a concluding sentence, and that will wrap up my paragraph stating that clearly environmental concerns and the effects of poor working conditions have contributed to the negative image for banana producers. Ultimately, the goal of this screencast is to, again, walk you through what an outline needs to do, how it is going to take the data that we found and logically organize it. To give you an idea of what an outline will look like once you have put specific information in place with primary ideas and supporting ideas, and then finally to give you an idea of what a paragraph is going to look like for us. Obviously, we've been practicing that in class, and you've already written a couple samples. Unfortunately, we have to move away from bananas, even though they're extremely nutritional and exciting to think about. You will now focus your writing on your own topic, and hopefully you can construct something that's going to reflect your complete understanding adequately of the research writing process. So with that, I hope the screencast has been beneficial. Feel free to come back and visit it whenever you need to, and if you have any questions or concerns, email me, stop by, let me know, and I'll give you some assistance. Thanks.